my friends. Welcome to Conversations with Arundhati. Bite-sized episodes for busy people who want to learn about staying healthy, life hacks, endometriosis and women's health from me and other experts in the field. I also will be sharing fun snippets from my life as I learn and unlearn about life in general. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello everyone, welcome to today's episode. How is everyone doing? So today I'm talking to you about how to navigate an emotionally supercharged conversation. So that can be in the forms of anger, right? Or you're just feeling extremely emotional. So for example, do you ever feel like you're channeling a lot of emotion into certain conversations, but you feel like it's just not going through? Like it's hitting a glass wall, it's not going through. Or something I hear all the time is, you're driving on the road and people cut off while you're driving, or they're not giving you way, and you burst out yelling, but sometimes they don't even know what wrong they did. Or what's worse, sometimes they don't even hear what you're saying, right? And how about another scenario where you get all worked up over a conversation with your spouse, your friend, your family, but you can see that they're not on the same wavelength, regardless how worked up you are. Anything sound familiar? I'm pretty sure. So what happens is basically when this happens, we're forgetting the after effect. So that is, we feel bad, right? Mentally, physically, you feel bad because you feel frustrated that nothing came out of it, no result came out of it, at least not the one that you wanted. And you also can feel bad that you may have said or done something that is not true to yourself, because sometimes we act out of character. We do things, say things that we usually would not do if we were thinking straight. And these can also cause tensions in relationships, right? And sometimes people can feel physically ill, right? You feel it because it's real. Emotions are real. And your mental health gets affected, right? It can increase your stress levels, your anxiety, make you think of depressive thoughts. And what's more, it works on an even deeper level, because even though you may not be able to see it, you become fully charged with negative energies. So even though me personally, I don't get emotionally charged to that level at the moment. I mean, currently I'm not into that level. I don't get really angry. Like people close to me, they know that. But that is thanks to years of yoga and prayer, right? But I have no judgment with this. Happens to everyone. I mean, it happens to me on rare occasions. So, because we're all human, right? We can't be perfect. So one such rare occasion that happens to me, right, is when a crow who visits our apartment daily let me back that up. So one of the rare occasions is when this particular crow visits our apartment daily. So yeah, you heard me right. I did say crow. That means the one with the wings and the beak, CROW, right? It sounds ridiculous, but people who are much closer to me, my friends, my family, they understand the context, because this has been going on for 10 years, right? So, I mean, it doesn't matter wherever I go, even if I change apartments, right? This particular crow comes to our apartment balcony and makes noises, but it won't be there for too long, but it just keeps pestering me. And I feel it's the same crow, and a lot of my friends and family, they've seen this firsthand, so it's not an imaginary thing. And they do think, they actually tell that it could be someone from your past life. Regardless, I don't believe in that, but when it keeps coming on a daily basis, consistently, even this year, for example, when I went to the hospital, I was admitted to the hospital. I don't know if it was the same crow, but there was definitely a crow on the window ledge pecking at my room window. And Yashuk was there, so it was not the drugs. It was really happening. So I don't know what happens, why it's happening, but this really ticks me off. So let me back it up. So why it ticks me off is most of the time, as you know, I do a lot of recording from home. So when I'm doing these recordings, especially because it's, yoga recordings, I have to have the ambience, it should be calm, quiet. And every time I have to do so many retakes over the years because this crow comes and bothers and stops, even if my balcony doors are closed, it's still there making that noise, and it really disrupts the recording. It disrupts my podcast. Actually, there are few videos on YouTube up to this date with that crow making the noise, few times interrupting. There are times where I'm just pausing the video and then, walking over and, just shouting at the crow and then coming back and sitting down. So this has been happening for 10 years. Now, saying it out loud sounds really like it's 10 years, right? That's a lot. So because it has been repetitive, so every year I feel I walk up, I have to get up, right? I'm doing yoga on the mat, then I have to stop that, walk up. By the time I get to the balcony, I'm like so supercharged, aggravated. And over the years, I feel that level of aggression, even though that's not my nature, it has developed to a big level, like by the time I get to the balcony. So with this year, something strange happened. So again, this crow came, right? I was sitting doing my yoga, and if it's my yoga, it's fine. It's just the recording is what really bothers me. And then I have to edit it, it gets a bit tricky. So again, this crow did come as usual. And I got up and I was like, okay, you know what? This has been happening too many times. I just do not have the energy. I'm not going to get worked up. I just sighed, right? I like, okay. And then I very slowly walked to the balcony ledge, and I just moved my hand very gently, waved almost, and it just flew away. And weirdly enough, at that moment, I don't know if it's the universe or if, I guess, when we are ready to receive certain information or wisdom or whatever that may be, I think that's when things sink in. So that was one of those key moments for me where I was just standing on the balcony and this crow just flew away, and I don't feel angry, I don't feel heavy in my body, I'm not pumped up, I don't feel frustrated, and the result that I wanted also happened. The result was that the crow leaves me alone, and it did, but I don't feel negative or I don't feel bad. And that was like, those light bulb moments. I was like, okay, hang on a minute, when I really think about it, the crow really doesn't know what I am feeling, regardless how justifiable it may be. The crow really doesn't know, right? So it doesn't know that I'm getting supercharged, I'm angry, and it has been happening over the years, the level of aggression, the emotion. It does not understand any of that. So why am I wasting my precious energy in harming myself and getting the when I can get the result without any of that, without any of the fuss, right? And weirdly enough, after that incident, the crow did not visit me as many times as regularly as it does. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe it's getting food from somewhere. I'm not sure. I genuinely don't know why. It does come, but I guess you never know. It can be like the universe is trying to teach me a lesson and I learned it and then it just went away. I'm not sure, but what I learned was definitely that I don't need to build up that aggression to get the result that I want, right? And I need to be careful in managing my energies. So that's when I was thinking, humans can be the same too, right? So either we really get supercharged and hurt our body, our mind, or we try another way out of it, right? So there are 3 ways that I thought that I would share this with everyone because it happened to me and I thought it can probably help someone else. So there are 3 steps that I felt that could help everyone else, right? Number 1 is always mindset check, right? So you need to do the work before you expect others to do things for you. So this is really important. So you need to step away, not get emotionally charged. That's when deep breathing, journaling helps a lot. When I feel like frustrated sometimes with certain things, I just do a lot of journaling. And when you write things down, things become more real and more simple. When it's all in your head, things can get a bit tricky and overwhelming. So even if you don't write it in paper, just step back and just observe objectively. Let your emotions cool down and then objectively look into what's going on. Number 2, assess the situation. Like, how important is this? How relevant is it going to be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Is this really necessary, right? So, and for example, in traffic, if someone's cutting you off, is it going to be a huge difference for you to get worked up and say a few emotionally charged words at some stranger? Are they going to learn a lesson, do you think? I mean, chances are not really, right? And the other part we're not realizing is maybe, just maybe, right, that maybe they have a sick relative, they're going to the hospital. We don't know what they're going through. So it's not really important or urgent or really necessary that we shout at everyone who is making a mistake on the road. Because at what cost, right? It's costing our mental health, our physical health. So number 3, okay, so realize that if there are certain things that are worthwhile, you need to discuss it, you need to, express it, right? If that is the case, then you come to this level. You do that work, objectively look into it, what the situation is, what it actually means to you, to the other person, right? And how can you best discuss this situation? And then also be open, because sometimes, just sometimes, hear me out, it can be that you need to change. It can be you may be the villain. You never know, right? So I'm not saying villain in a bad way. It was just a joke. But my point is, we need to be open. You can't be in a closed box situation. My opinions, my thoughts are the only thing that is right, because when you hear from another person, it can be like, you know what? It makes sense. So be a bit open, because it can be a situation where you may have to adjust or learn, right? So be very conscious of how you manage your energies, because it is known through research that anger weakens your immune system. So if you're someone who is getting angry constantly, imagine what's happening to your body, because getting angry is not how we are supposed to be in nature. We're supposed to be calm, right? And it affects our mental health. You can be spiking anxieties when it's not needed. You can be probably, if you're not being careful, you can be having depressive thoughts. And we don't want any of that. So I want you to really be conscious about this the next time you feel you have a tendency to jump to conclusions, or, just emotionally get supercharged in a conversation. Because if you're not careful, you will be barking at a crow that has no idea what you're talking about, right? I hope you found this episode inspiring, valuable to a certain level. Hopefully, something I learned, I thought I'll help you. Please share it with friends and family, anyone you think who might find value, who might get angry, or who is constantly getting emotional. So please do share it with them, and thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I will speak to you next Tuesday for the endometriosis episode, and Thursday again for my wellness episode. Thanks again. Bye for now.